I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on GBM, we're diving into a powerful book. It is called The Goodflyers, Lords of the Emerald Coast. It is a high-octane Navy aviation novel set at flight school in Pensacola, Florida, where rivalry turns personal and dangerous as well. It is written by a terrific author. His name is JohnJDomina, and he throws you into the adrenaline-fueled world of T-34C instructors Frank Nicolosi and Joe Christmas as they battle to stay on top in the air and in the brutal, no-holds-barred competition on the ground as well. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today. We thank the team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put him on TV today. And we ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his amazing book. The links are below this interview. John, thank you so much for joining me here today.
Pleasure to be here, Mr. Crawford.
This is quite a book, quite a world you have detailed for a lot of us who have very little knowledge about what this type of situation is like. Tell us a little bit about the inspiration.
Well, the inspiration was the 4 years I spent as an instructor was just an incredible whirlwind life story that it encompasses not just the airplane and students and studying and passing your exams and in the air and on the ground and getting your wings, but it spilled over into personal lives everywhere into Pensacola. You know, love affairs, the bars, the beaches, the establishments, and the brutal competitions we had with a particular squadron. And we went head to head, and it basically turned pretty ugly for a while.
Yeah.
So that I just felt like the story has to be told. That being said, names had to be changed for obvious reasons.
Yep.
And so therefore, it became a historical fiction piece as opposed to an actual documentary, because
as they used to
it may
say, the
get people
story
in
you're
trouble.
about to hear, it's true. The names have been changed to protect
To
the
protect the innocent.
innocent. Without a doubt, without a doubt. This is quite a story, indeed. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Top Gun in a way, a real life Top Gun. Have you envisioned this book as a film?
I did, because it's not just based on one person and here and there and his experiences, but several. They all have their own journeys, their ups and downs, and it eventually all comes together where they all collide, as the book depicts. And I thought I would see the movie, even if I didn't write it or anything. I thought it'd be a very interesting movie. And it's not a Top Gun, of course, a superhero in the jets, but it has more personal lives, stories combined with the flying, which was real. I mean, the flying was realistic. And part of it was to put people who have never flown before in that T-34 and strap in and experience it.
Tell us a little bit about that aircraft. What's it capable of? And when and where is it used?
Well, when I was a flight instructor, it was a primary flight trainer. And that is the first aircraft you will go into on your journey to your wings and onward to whatever you're going to find in the Navy, F-14s, C-131s, C-2s, whatever aircraft was available. And that aircraft was a high-performance turboprop. It did everything you could imagine, upside down, every which way. It was high speed, pretty good G-force capabilities. So we taught, obviously, aerobatics in that thing and everything else you needed to know: navigation, aerobatics, instrumentation, IFR, VFR. And it was a fun airplane, man. It was just a dream little plane, but it was our home, man. I mean, a cockpit was our home. And we experienced all kinds of things in that plane. And like I said, spilled over into the personal lives of instructors and the students. That's what made it amazing. It wasn't just, I'm going to study, I'm going to pass my systems test and get in the airplane, pass all the other things. It was a life experience in and out of that airplane, both good and bad.
Yeah.
Stories went crazy.
Yeah, this isn't
So,
studying organic chemistry. People who want to be pilots at this level truly love it, right? I mean, there's
yes.
extreme competition. It's a
Oh,
dream
God.
job, right?
It is an environment of perfection, a world created on perfection, where failure is really, you've heard it before, failure is no option. Well, failure is
Right.
like slow death in this environment. And
Yeah.
the fear of falling behind is so real, and it encompasses everybody's lives, um, all the students. It's amazing to see that and see the transformation. Even the most confident ones have that worried look on their face. And then, of course, it spills into their personal life in the bars and the establishments, on the beaches.
Hmm.
It's just a life experience, all wrapped up in flight school, all to get those wings of gold, you know.
Yeah.
And like you mentioned before, it's not biochemistry. It's not just study and pass the exam. You have to apply what you learned, the systems and everything, onto the airplane, into the
Yeah.
airplane, and apply those skills while you're flying. And G forces are pulling out, you know, the noise of the airplane, the cockpit, the smell of metal in there, and everything moving so fast around you. So you put those two together, you'll be successful. And a lot of guys had
Yeah.
trouble with some of that. Even the smartest guys, you can imagine. I mean, they made me feel stupid. They were so smart. Some of these
Yeah.
students, you know, like brain surgeons or something. But some of them were so smart. But when they got into the airplane, they failed because they just couldn't apply all the stuff they learned into the dynamics of flying the airplane. So that it made it pretty interesting, an interesting environment for sure. You know.
Yeah. If it was as simple as the highest IQ or the best pilots, it'd be easy to weed them out. But it's not that. It's a
Right.
combination
Right.
of grit, coordination, athleticism, and of course, smarts
Yes.
as well. Tell us a
Mhm.
little bit about your journey. How did you become a top flyer?
Uh, well, my name's not in the book, you know. uh, we, I did the whole thing, went to flight school, got assigned to flying C-131s in Sigonella, Sicily, which in
Mhm.
the book there are ties to that at the end.
Yeah.
And then I was assigned to Whiting Field, VT6, where I was an instructor pilot.
Yeah.
And when you say top pilot there, it's, you know, they really look at how many flights you have done with a student, how many X's that you've gotten, how many naval aviators you've turned out, and also your leadership. You know, you have to have a leadership ability to guide the squadron, to guide the students, because they all look up to you. Everywhere you go, your reputation follows you, from the briefing rooms to the beaches and into the bars. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
they're all there. So you can't
Exactly.
just go into the bar and go nuts. You got to realize people are watching you and they're looking up to you.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
and then so what
Absolutely.
makes the top instructor is all those combined put together. And I'm
Yeah.
not saying I was a top instructor. We had some amazing people in the squadron that
Well,
didn't
I
even
can
make
say it, even if you're too humble to say it.
hey.
Humility is part of it as well. If you're too humble to say it, I'll say it then. Talk to us a little bit about Frank and Joe and their relationship and a little bit of the story. Explain it for the folks at home.
Well, Frank Nicolosi he's had the brains, the cool, the calm, and he led the squadron. Uh, they've been number one for a while. When I say number one, creating the most X's, in other words, turning out the most syllabus flights with the students, which eventually leads to your wings. Also winning. The athleticism is a big part of that school. I mean, we compete in everything:
Hmm.
football, flag football, softball, bowling, basketball, and the biggest thing was rugby. That was a
Mm.
huge event. Every once a week, we'd go beat the crap out of each other in the Pensacola Rex League Rugby Association. And there were teams from everywhere in Pensacola, from every walks of life. And there's a few from the Navy. And when we competed with our fellow squadron, with the other squadron, it became so brutal, so intense. And then afterwards, we all go for beers and hug
Yeah.
until it got really over the top once. And then it's in the story. It just got out of hand and everything was going down in a hurry. And somebody had to stop this free fall we were all going through. It was like a moral collapse. Um, and there was love affairs that kind of exacerbated the situation. And in particularly, one of the leaders from the other squadron, it's in the book, he's just a no moral compass kind of guy. And he
Hmm.
led their charge. He brought guys with him. He found the students that were just like him, and they beat us. They started beating us. So the whole idea was we got to get back on top, and that's what turned everything ugly, dark. And somebody had to eventually say, "Whoa, whoa, put the brakes on this downfall," which was pretty much getting out of control.
Yeah. It's a wonderful story, told with a lot of imagination and a lot of realism, of course. What would you want military aviation fans to say after reading this?
Wow. I would like them to say, wow, I felt like I've gone for a ride in the T-34 Cementer and hung on while we did the aerobatics, got lost in the clouds, got the crap beat out of us in weather, lost a student or two during formation solos when the weather was so-so and we shouldn't have really gone out with them. And that whole situation where it's also in the book. If you probably read it, you're responsible when you take out students, number one. Number two, when they do their solos and you do a form chase, there's two solos going by themselves and you're chasing them. If the weather gets bad on you and all of a sudden they start disappearing, man, talk about, a lot of pressure to get them back together and get them back to base. So I wanted to bring all those experiences out to the reader and feel like this is for real. I wanted people who've never flown before or have never flown in a military airplane or a T-34 to feel it, to smell it, smell the metal in the cockpit, hear the rush of the wind and the canopy, the whir of that turbo pop prop, the freedom of the skies. And then afterwards, it's off to the beaches and the bars, for the most part. Not everybody, some people went home, read the Bibles and studied, which is fine.
Yeah.
And you had the other side that didn't. We just went partied and we went crazy, got ready for the next day.
Yeah. I can't blame you. You're doing the coolest job in the world.
I think so.
I think inarguably in many ways, it's at least one of the coolest jobs you can do. And, these guys are young, they're swaggering as they should, and they're in a beautiful terrain, the Emerald Coast. And like you said, girls, bars, booze, and the throttle. And it's a lot of adrenaline and a lot of fun. And the book is a lot of adrenaline and a lot of fun. Tell me a little bit about your writing career. Is this your first book?
Yes, my first book. I've loved ever since college. I like to write bits and pieces. Never did anything with it. I actually wrote 2 screenplays that are sitting here. And as you know, I also flew after the Navy, with the airlines.
Yeah.
And the job was so satisfying, so fun, so enjoyable. My mind was there. So I never set aside time for writing another book or my first book earlier. But I wrote the screenplays and then I set those aside. Now I'm looking at them thinking, hey, pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn them into books, and because I enjoy writing. I mean, the writing was a lot of layovers I'd have with my airline job in fabulous places. Everyone meets downstairs, happy hour, and hits the town. And a lot of times I'm sitting in the room just writing. So they called me boring, I was boring John, the pilot. But it paid off because what I was writing was this story.
Awesome.
And now another one, which is a baseball story.
Yeah.
So it's just starting off now, Mr. Crawford. If you ask about my writing career, the more I wrote this, the more I enjoyed it. Because you get into your story, it just feels like you're there, and I love it.
You're living in that space. You are that character. You're behind the, you're in the cockpit again.
I am, yes.
That space. You get all the thrills. Yeah, writing is quite a mental pleasure. That's the best way to put it, I guess.
I love it.
Wonderful. Well, the fact that you love it shows because you've written a book that I think a lot of folks will love. It is called The Goodflyers, Lords of the Emerald Coast. It is a fast, intense ride through Navy flight school where rivalry, loyalty, and morality collide at full throttle. John, thank you so much for joining us here today.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate your time, your insight, and the wonderful work you've done on this book. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford for the Global Book Network. So long for now.